a professional summary. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to have a sharp professional summary that speaks to what these people want. So I've done something related to this, and then you put it like that at the top. So the people that review CVs, yeah, I've been on teams that hire, and we've had to look at people's CVs, and we did interviews and all of that. The people that look at your CV really, really don't have time. As it is, they have other work that they're doing apart from that, looking at CV. EHR staff have other things that they're doing apart from looking at your CV. So you want to front load anything that's going to communicate to them that you are the right person for the job. That is what you want. So when you give them a sharp and achievements you've had, that tells them, okay, let me read further. If the top of your CV is not saying much, honestly, they might have to look through it, for obligation purposes, but they can easily put you aside. So there's something that people don't know, but we had a recruitment a few months ago, or I think this might get into a year, and in organizations. We had for a position 900 applications. So 900 people applied for this one role. Do you think that these people have time? And at the time, I think the organization had not even started using ATS. So it's human beings that were going to sort through 900 CVs. I know that at this point, even your prayer is important. You should pray. But at the same time, also, as they're looking through the CV, you need to give them what will make them think that this person can actually do the job. And then when it comes to the application, I think I already mentioned that you're not going to use the same CV for every application. You can have a master CV that has everything, but whenever an organization puts out a call and you want to apply, you look at the job description and you look at what the organization does, and then sometimes it doesn't have to be big changes that you make. It can just be that this organization they have an application that they want to use to reach young people, in terms of their reproductive health, for example. And then you have an experience, little experience around that in a place that you worked. Instead of that being number 3 or number 4, number 5 on your, that experience, you push it to number 1, so that when they're looking at it, they're like, okay, so this thing that we want to do, this person has some experience in it, and then they'll be interested in reading more. Okay. Yeah. So we have an anatomy of a winning CV. So we'll have a professional summary, 3 to 4 lines. We want to know who you are, what you offer, what you're seeking, and that you want a job. And in this economy, you want money. Like that is already a given. However, when it comes to job application, the CV, the interview, until you get if honestly, even after you get your foot into the organization, it cannot just be about you. It's gonna be like I absolutely need a job. I need money. I think we already know that, but we need to lead with what the organization wants. They are selfish. As you want a job, you want money, they also want something to be done for them, and they want to done well. So you need to be showing them how, again, you are the right person for the job. A lot of CVs, then after that objective, that say that they were born in 2002 and they are female and they are Muslim or Christian. Yeah, we need all of that off of your CV. The next thing that I want you to have as a professional summary is your core competencies and skills. And these also need to speak to these people. You see, organizations already tell you what they want. I don't want to exaggerate too much about the things that you don't know. So don't put yourself in, a terrible position where they call you for interview and you cannot defend your CV. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Look at the job description I gave you. That's exactly what. And see how the skills that you have align with the job, the skills of the person that they want, and then you outline the skills. Then we get to experience. For this one, we'll have, what the role is, the name of the company, 23 or 2024, for example. For this one, you count everything that you can quantify. If you manage social media and they used to have 100 followers, and then by the time they left their social media page, they had 1,000 followers. You either, say the number that it increased by, or for example, you manage the media for them, because I know that even for volunteer experience, especially for smaller organizations, you do a lot of work. So if, for example, you help them with showing up on radio, then you can write, how you managed 20 radio then it is now that we get to your education and certifications. And even this one, I know some of us have collected so many certificates because they tell you that, you need these certificates. First of all, you need the knowledge and skills more than you need the actual certificates, but it's also good to have the certificates. Anyway, so here is where you now tell us, where you went to school. Firstly, I personally don't think you need to have primary school on there. If you are running for president of Nigeria, maybe they'll be looking for which primary school you went to. But one of the first things that these people need is actually university, which university you went to. And then, that's perhaps you have secondary school certificate. If you are done with NYSC or you're currently doing NYSC, that's also important especially for jobs in Nigeria within the country. You would need NYSC. So those are the things that you put. And then for the certifications, you also look at what is most relevant to what these people want. And you also, depending on where you got the certificate, that's another way of filtering. So if maybe there's a reputable school or some, training center that you think these people know, or if they search for it, like they're reputable people, because I know that so many people give certificates. So you can, sort out for that and then put just a few that are very relevant. And then there's also, you can put some interest that you have or volunteering that you have done, especially the volunteering part. And then if you don't have volunteering experience, that is fine. But especially as young professionals, they kind of expect us to have volunteered in one place or the other. And yeah, so you can also have that. All right. Yeah, so here we now have like an example of, a bullet points that you can have on your CV. Say at the point where you're talking about job experience, right? So yeah, so an example here we have that, responsible for managing social media accounts, we worked on some project reports for clients, helped the team with training activities, which I think it makes sense. That's probably some of the things that you did, but it doesn't tell me much about what you can do. How did you help the team? When you manage social media, what happened when you managed? Because you can manage social media accounts and nothing will happen. Maybe you posted once in a month and you can still call that, that you manage social media. And then maybe you were posting some very not nice looking things, or there was no engagement on the account. We don't know. Look, I don't know you as when I look at your CV, I don't know you from anywhere, and you are the one that has to make a good impression so that I will know that, okay, this is interesting. Maybe this person can do the work that we actually want them to do. Yeah, so example of how you can make it stronger, you can tell us that you grew Instagram engagement by, 47% in 3 months, through, the targeted content strategy, or perhaps that you had a content calendar that you followed, and that's how you reached this achievement of 47%. You can also tell us that you delivered 12 client reports monthly, which is most likely something, at least even that or closer to what the person on the left did, but they did not tell us and we don't know. So improving on time, delivery rate of these reports from 70 to 98%. For the point of helping team with training activities, you can say designed and facilitated onboarding, training for 30 plus new hires across 4 teams and all of that. So again, I beg you to not lie on your CV because it's going to catch up with you. You want to be called for interview when you submit your CV. And when they call you for interview, so there's interview questions, and there are also questions that somebody will look at, especially if you have put it in such an interesting way. Something can catch the attention of the interview and they'll ask you from your CV. If you cannot defend it, no matter how, like how much confidence you have, there's an end to which you cannot say. It's really with the way the question. So just make sure that what you're saying is true, but you're presenting it in a way that is relevant to the work that you want to do, and in a way that interests them. Okay, so we have an exercise here as to pick bullet from your CV. From this present, okay. But if you've been note, then you probably know to for the my presentation to reach you. Okay, so yeah, the formula that we're using is an action verb. So grew, delivered, led, did, and the results. Because if you did something, then so what? Whatever you put on your CV should be able to answer the question, so what? Okay. Yeah, so for your LinkedIn, I have a profile photo. When I see a connection request, it's rare, but I've still seen of somebody with a picture at all. I will look at it personally, but I guess maybe some other people connect with people with their pictures. But we need to have a picture. LinkedIn profiles that have pictures, gets 21 times more views than those without. Picture needs to be, to see probably has never seen you before. Okay, so if we should see you, it shouldn't have, like some might get session, it's done. If the resource time, please like if they're into the professional photo shoot just because you want to open an account, because you want to, optimize any account. If you have a good, neat, nice picture, you can use that. Then for the headline, it needs to, say the role, what you do, and who you help. So for example, you're a HR associate, you're connecting top talents to growing teams in Nigeria. So, that gives us a good impression of who this person is before we move forward. And then the next section that we have is the about or summary section. This will tell your story in person. So you say, I am, these are the things that I do, and I'm looking for opportunities to help organizations tell the story of what they do. So a problem a lot of organizations have is that they do a lot of work, but telling the story about it in a way that with people is so many advanced Nigeria. So whoever goes something like that. And then, there's a featured section on LinkedIn. You can add pictures there, some of the projects that you have done. If you've written an article, if you have a portfolio, that is the place for you to put it. And then on LinkedIn too, there's a place for skills and endorsements. If you're currently working in a place, get some of the people that you work. If it's a long time ago, you can still try, but it's even better for some people and places where, they're still fresh in their memory. So if you're still working somewhere now, even if it's as a volunteer or gets people to endorse your skills. So you put your skills there. For example, oh, you can take photographs, so photography as a skill, or say maybe even have report writing as a skill. They'll come and click endorse, 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 and then you can have multiple endorsements. And again, when it comes to your page, LinkedIn page, you'll be able to see that, oh, there are people that agree. So it's not just that me, I'm saying I'm good at photography, but there are people that agree that I'm good in photography. And then for open to work, you can turn this on if you want. You can also so as like open to if you have, then you probably will be able that you leave the which is not is it doesn't lead to lines. You need to be what you're living quietly until you actually secure before you client. Yeah, but as especially as young professionals, you work and whenever people looking for talent, they can know that you're looking for a job. And there's also one um, frame thing that LinkedIn puts that shows that you're open to work.
Hello, apologies. It seems today it's not a good day for all of us. Nigerian network has been on our neck, and unfortunately, we have lost our facilitator for today. So we just please be patient. I believe she will join us as quick as possible. So, dear fellows, this is a very insightful session. CV of 18, people even pay uh, consultancy for them to write CV for them, and they end up not getting that dream job and whatever you. But here we are getting it for free, how we can optimize our CV and how we can position our LinkedIn page to be more professional so that we can get those good opportunity. And one thing with LinkedIn, I like the way she put it on the slide. She said it's 24/7 recruiter. So hello, please. Are you with me? Let me not be speaking. Hello. Hello, guys.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, thank God she's back. She is trying to continue sharing the screen. Good to have you back, Miss Zainab.
Thank you so much. I don't know what happened. I just got kicked out of Zoom, and it's not. I did not even receive a call or anything. I really don't know what happened. I hope that the network will allow me to finish my presentation.
We
Having
just hope so.
sometimes.
The network has been disappointing today.
Hmm. Okay, then let me continue. So we have already reached our first exercise. As I said, that you will open your CV. So just immediately after this call, please do it. If you keep it for too long, you will probably procrastinate and end up not doing it. Or some of the things that we discussed will not be cold in your now that it is hot. Just do this exercise, okay? So you open your CV without touching anything yet. Then you score it, you look at whether you have a professional summary or not and what it is saying there. If you have qualified bullet points that are saying, the giving us numbers, starting with an action word, giving us numbers, and also answering the question, so what? And also, if you have a particular, job application in mind, if the keywords that you're using in your CV aligns with that job that you're trying to apply to. That is also very important. And then, you need to identify the weakest sections that you have. There are sections that probably need to go. If you have that thing that says, I was born in 2002, please remove it. Thank you. And yeah, so there are sections that might need to go and some that you need to, rewrite. So identify those. And then rewrite at least one of the bullet points using, the action verb, words and results, formula that we have given here, and just have a feel of it and then keep updating the rest of them. And then for LinkedIn, also, you open your LinkedIn profile, identify 3 sections that need immediate attention. So if you did not have a picture, for example, find a picture and put it there. Okay. Then if you did not have skills, for example, then you put your skills. If you had skills and you didn't have endorsements, also get endorsements from people that you have worked with. And when it comes to, especially now that we're just starting out, like I know that a lot of you are young professionals, you may think that you don't have, tons of experience, but even some of the things that you did in school, I know at least my sister did this very well. She did a lot of activities in school. They put together different programs. So whether you were somebody that attended that, or you were a volunteer when they were doing those programs, or even you were the organizer in it. So any, type of those activities, even if, say, for example, you were the president of your school, what do they even call it now that I'm trying to remember? All those politicians in departments and faculty. If that is the only experience you have, or one of the very few, you can still put it there for now. But eventually, as you're getting more experience, we start phasing out some of those, so that it will give way for more substantial and relevant experiences that you have. So I would like to pause at this point for questions, if that is okay, because after this, I'm going to move to the second part of the presentation. So is it okay for us to stop for questions now, or should we take everything and then take the questions?
Okay. Good afternoon, ma. Good evening, ma. Can you hear
Yeah.
me, please?
Good evening. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm Elizabeth Tosamitare. So thank you very much. That's been insightful. So my question is, because I joined in late, so I heard what you were talking about line on CV and all of that. So my question is, for someone like me now, I sometimes I ghostwrite for people, and I do not get feedback on how the article I wrote is performing. And when you were talking, you showed us a before and after of how we should write our CVs. You include such and such percentage and all of that. For someone like me who cannot tell how well an article performed, and the person I wrote for did not give me such feedback, and I do not want to lie on my CV, what would you advise people like us to do?
Okay, I can honestly say that you can start with trying. I don't think you sound like you did not try, but I think a first step will be just trying to find not necessarily even, analytics, because I understand also like the other side that they probably don't have time or they don't care as much about your CV. You've done their work, they've paid you probably, and they just want you to leave them alone. But you can still try, to hear from them if it performed well, if they liked it, if they got any response from it. That is one way. Another way could also be that you use the ones that you actually had, feedback on. So I don't know, like I don't have the full story about how many you've had feedback for or how many you don't, but that's also an option. You can also have the option of, just sort of omitting the aspects that you don't have and saying that you've written, for 20 clients, 5 clients that are satisfied with the work, and just finding a way to coin it, that it will sound good, but in anything that you do on, in your job application, try as much as possible to not lie at all, like 100%. No lies Because again, as I said, to catch up with you, because there are interviews, and also there are parts in applications that will tell you that you need to like declare sort of, I solemnly swear that everything that I said in this job application is true. There's that. And there's also the fact that employers are going to call. So if you say that I worked with this person or this organization, and you've already passed the interview stage and they want to employ you, they will definitely reach out to the people that you claim to have worked with. And those people, in fact, I received a request for what do they even call it now? Reference. Yeah. So I received a request for reference yesterday and I plan to respond to it today. And I'm very happy to give reference for this specific person. But there are people that make it difficult for you to because it now sounds like me to, I'm solemnly swearing that this person can do the job. And if they cannot do it, it's like I'm indicting myself. Anyway, so they're going to reach out to these people and they will find out whether the things that you claimed to have done are true or not. And you don't want to find yourself. Like imagine that you made one small lie to make something look better. And then in the course of investigations and making calls and whatnot, they find that that specific thing is not true. And then you lose the whole job. When it's not like the entire you or the entire experience is a lie, it's just that small point. So yeah. So I may not have a very clean answer for you, but I would say that at first you should try to, find that feedback from the people that you're working for. And if you're not able to get that, then you can use what you have. If that maybe doesn't sound impressive enough, then maybe you can omit a few things just to make sure that you stay on the right side. I hope that this has helped. Do we have any other question before we continue? Maybe I'll take one more, then we'll continue. Any question at this time? You people have exercise to do so that you don't go to do your exercise and you be like, I wish I should have asked her this question. Now I don't know because you may not be able to reach me, even though we do have a session tomorrow. So that can help. But for now, if you have any questions, ask. If not, I will move to the next part of my presentation.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much so far. I'll just jump to my question. Okay, in the case whereby you are trying to you've been working on your own project for a bit too long and you're kind of outdated. You've kind of not outdated, but your work outside your freelance work outside has been outdated a bit, too long done. How can you reposition yourself, especially since you've been doing most of your work and employers might not like the fact that you've been working a lot on your own project? How can you reposition yourself?
Okay. Yes, I like the way you asked the question. So in a way, you have answered the part of it. I said, how can you reposition yourself? So it's not like you want something that worked today, like this very moment. So some of the tips that I have for this would be for you to try to identify, say maybe a company that is doing a job similar to the work that you're doing for yourself. And then you pick up either a volunteer position there, you can just volunteer to help them do a few things. Or depending on it, if it's for example, a small company of 3 people, you can even get them to give you an actual position there, and then you can be working part-time. So that way you have, that's you still include, you can still include, the work that you have done for yourself, but it also gives credibility that you're not just vouching, you're not just the one saying, I have done this, but there are other organizations that you have gotten results for, in this same thing. So that way, it gives you that kind of credibility. And that's something you can probably start any moment from now. Just identify, a company, organization that needs your services, and then you request for a volunteering, position. Honestly, when sometimes young people think that it is so hard to get certain positions because they are looking very high up at, for example, maybe international organizations or some very big known companies. And those people have all the money to get all the talent that they want. And so yeah, they're very likely to turn you down. But when you target smaller organizations, smaller NGOs, smaller companies that currently don't have the budget to get some of those talents that you have, then it's easier, to get them to agree. There's an organization that I serve on the board of, and it's a small NGO. And a lady that was mentored by, the founder also requested to volunteer for about 3 months. And she's currently doing that volunteer position. And she can always, put it on the CV. We are a registered organization. Anybody that sees it can reach out to us and confirm that she did what she said she did. And she's doing very well. And it did require, we're not going to pay her. Okay, we try to do like data and stuff, but we are not going to pay her anything. So we don't have much to lose. And she also doesn't have much to lose by giving us some of the, skills that she already has. These are things she knows how to do, and these are things that we could use help with. So yeah, my advice would be to identify some organizations to either volunteer with or partner with or work with in a way that you can then present it on your CV, and whoever wants to, whoever is looking at your CV or your LinkedIn profile can verify that you actually did the work for these people, and so it gives you more credibility. I hope that helps.
That helps a lot. Thank you for your answer.
Thanks. All right. You're welcome. So it looks like we also have a question in the chat. Kabir says, good evening. Good evening, Kabir. You're looking to change a new field. How can you rewrite your professional narrative to okay. What I think you're trying to say is that you want to include your past experience in the professional summary, right? Kabir, you can either respond via chat or just go off mute and confirm that is what you're asking, because I think I have a response as well. Okay. In fact, if you are trying to pivot, you have to put the experience that you had. Otherwise, it's going to look like you have never done anything, right? Yeah, so you will lead with some of the things that you have done, but you're not going to end it with that. You're not going to say that, you're looking to apply some of the things. Okay, I'm seeing another question. So you're looking to apply some of the things that you have skills. So you can sit down and identify transferable skills. So what is something that you're doing in this field or in this role that something like that is being done in this other field that you want to go to and that you can do? There's usually something. But if you cannot find that, I want to assume that to fill that gap, you must have, either done some courses or some kind of volunteering to sort of fill the gap between where you are and where you want to be. So that way, you will now, lead with some of those transferable skills from the achievements, and then you tell us that, you're looking to pivot into this new thing because, maybe some interest that you have and all of that. So yeah, you lead with things you have done, and it would be good if you can identify transferable skills from where you are to where you want to go, to something like things that apply there. And then it should state clearly, though, in your professional summary that you're looking to pivot. And I know you did not ask me about what you should do. You asked for the narrative, but I'll still say, if you have not done any volunteer role or any internship in the new field that you want to break into, then this is your time to do it. Because when you do that, then it's easier to, show that you are making effort into getting into this new position. Because you see, the thing is, for anybody that's looking to hire, we just want to know that you can do the job. That's like one of the biggest, it's probably the biggest concern. So if you tell me that you did very well in this other place and now you're looking to get here, and in fact you have volunteered and these are things that you've done in the volunteering, you've taken these courses, you've done this program, then yeah, I would think, okay, especially if it's like an entry level or an internship role, I think yeah, this is a good candidate for it. Okay, so we have another question. Task skills and soft skills. I don't know if I've necessarily heard of task skills, but I'm assuming that it will probably mean the same as, hard skills. So hard skills, for example, would be, if, for example, you know how to code, not just that, like they don't mean hard things, they just mean like more concrete things that perhaps you can show certificates for and all of that. And then soft skills is more, that ability to work well in a team. Perhaps you are able to you have negotiation skills or even conflict resolution, even though I know conflict resolution can have certificates and all of that. But so some of those more like behavior type things are the soft skills, whereas, the hard skills are like some of the things related to school you went to, I've made a lot of examples with photography because I do photography. But yeah, so photography is a hard skill. If you can do video editing, that is a hard skill. Yeah, so some of those are hard skills, and then more behavior type things are soft skills. Okay, it looks like more questions are coming in. I would take this one and then move because it looks like we are short. The time is catching up with us. Okay. So for those of us that are still young, I mentioned something about 2002. I was just giving an example with the birth date because I assumed that there will probably be somebody here that was 1002 or later. So the point I was trying to make, you said you couldn't hear me. Yeah, I said that if your CV has date of birth, I don't care when the time that you were born, remove it. That's the point I was trying to make. Thank you, Favor. Then I'll move to the next part of my presentation. Okay. Yeah, so this one is about career navigation and job search strategy. Okay. Yeah, so whenever I have sessions with people, one of the first things that we do is that we try to find their ikigai. If you've never heard of the concept of ikigai, go and search for it. There's a book. Actually, you can read the book. But honestly, like you can just Google and see how like what it means and all of that. So the ikigai is where what you're good at, what you like to do, because they're not always the same thing. What people are willing to pay you for, the market. So it can be individuals, it can be businesses, companies, but what is in demand? And also, what you feel passionate about, the kind of impact you want to you want to live in the world. Where those things intersect, that is your ikigai. And everybody in this room should be trying to find it. Or if some of you have found it, very good. But you should be on a journey to finding your ikigai. So a lot of people, there are questions that come up about, oh, I'm passionate about cooking. Okay, that is good. It's good that we know that you're passionate about cooking. Then are there people that are willing to pay you for it? Yeah, there are probably people that are looking for maybe places to get food, but there are also probably a lot of places they could get it. Anyway, so are you good at it? There are people eating your food and being like, this is the best jollof rice I've ever had in my life. If you're getting some of those feedback, that is a good sign. So you're passionate about cooking, and we know that based on what other people have told you, that you are actually very good at cooking. Then, yeah, so we now look at, are people willing to pay you for it? It might be that, people in the office, maybe even in the office that you're working in, are looking for healthy food options that be delivered to them. they have money, so maybe they don't mind paying good amount for it. You just want when it's time for lunch for them to have very hot, healthy meals ready for them, and you can make that. And then maybe, there's market research. Of course, there's so much that goes into that, but then you can ask them, find out how much they're willing to pay and all of that. Yeah, so we've answered the third question. And then maybe in your life, like what gives you joy is seeing that people are fed, that people are eating healthy food. And, you want that perhaps when you die, that people will say that, well, this person helps me to be healthy in my life. Yeah, so maybe I'm getting a bit hungry. That's why I'm eating the food energy. But I hope that helps to drive the point. So that sweet spot is what we are looking for. It's not just for you to be passionate, but for you to be good at the thing. Or, some people actually will stand up once they say, oh, AI is what is making, like, well, that's what people are using to make money. All of you now go and be getting certifications in AI. Now I am an AI optimization. There's actually somebody that I saw that does AI something specialist, or all those things. I'm not saying people should not do it. I'm just saying it's not for everybody. And so when you have identified what you're good at, the intersection between what you're good at, what you enjoy, what the market is willing to pay, and the impact you want to leave in the world, but you'll not be jumping from one place to another. Like you've found your center, you know what you want to do in life, and then you continue to pursue that. Okay. Yeah. So I've heard people that have applied for 200 jobs, 1,000 jobs. I saw recently actually on social media that one lady applied for 1,400 and something jobs. I think that is a quick way to burn out. I've seen people that will apply to so many jobs, they'll be tired and they'll even say, I'm not going to apply anymore. Job application can be tiring. And that's one thing. Another thing is that if you want to apply for 100 jobs, you will not time to sit down and be tailoring and making sure that the keywords and whatnot. There's literally you have 99 more jobs to apply for. You just be sending and hoping for the best. Yeah, so that is not strategic. That's not what we want. We are looking at, you need to tailor your CV, your cover letter every single time that you're going to apply for a job. We want quality over quantity. And, for you can targets, maybe sending 5 applications, and then you see how that goes. Did they call you? Did they not call you before? You can now, touch up your strategy, even start looking, is it possible that some of the skills that I have is not what they want? How can I upskill and all of that? And then you can now apply for another set of jobs. But yeah, I absolutely do not recommend you applying to hundreds of jobs just because you're looking for what. Yeah, so 70% of jobs, as they say, are not publicly posted. There are some jobs that are posted, unfortunately, that they already have who they want, which is not nice, but that's the reality. And if you sit down and say that you're waiting for the world to be fair, so you're the one that will continue to sit. But for some of us, we appreciate that you work, with the world the way it is, while also trying to, see how things can get better. But if you just sit down and say, I'm not going to apply because if they put it out there, it's probably not even true. You're the one that will be shortchanging yourself. Anyway, so when there are jobs that either they've not even advertised yet or they know who they want, but they sort of would prefer, especially if the skills are not like widely available, they'll probably prefer to find somebody through another person that they know, a colleague in another organization, or like that. So some kind of referral type thing. Yeah, so for you to get that kind of job, you can identify somebody in an organization. Again, okay, I guess recently I have a few examples to give. Recently somebody reached out to me and requested for a coffee. I don't know the person from anywhere, so I don't even know how safe that is. But I did check that it was a real person. And she requested for a coffee just to talk about work, her work, and the fact that she said she wants to move to Nigeria. I think she sure wants to move in somewhere that she thinks yeah, we don't have any, what would I call it, like agenda for the meeting. It's just to get to know each other, and she's going to literally get free consultation from me, which I charge good money for. Anywho, she requested for a coffee and I said yes. So that's something you can do. And that's a way that you literally can get yourself a job. You can get a job recommendation, because if I find out that she's very good at something, that I know that a colleague of mine or another organization was really looking for this person, I can easily recommend her. And because I am recommending her, they can actually take her. So yeah, get the courage to, because I think it requires courage for a lot of us. But don't spam people's accounts and pages. Don't go and be sending, hi, how are you? You see, this lady that I responded to, she went straight to the point. That's another thing. When you're reaching out to people that don't know you and frankly don't care about you, then you need to go straight to the point and say what you want. And then if they don't respond to you, move on to another person. They are not holding your destiny in their hand. It's just an opportunity that you're exploring, right? Yeah, so you can also, engage on LinkedIn, see comments. I've also seen like jobs being posted and some people will tag their friends in the comments and all of that. So, just keep an eye on that. And also very relevant events. Again, you see, I don't like stress. So I'll not be recommending people be jumping from one event to another, but just identify some events that look relevant. Actually, another one that I've gotten is somebody has also come to an event where, hold on, please give me one moment to deal with this. Please bear with me. Yeah, so a lady came and she introduced herself. She told me that she just saw that this event was happening online and she decided to attend. And she told me this is what she has been doing. She's volunteering at this place and all of that. So you can actually do that. Like she literally left she told me she was in her house when she saw that the event was happening. She left her house and she came and she talked to me and she got my number. Hmm. I think I need my number needs to be more scarce, but yeah, I'm just giving you examples of things that are working for people that you can also use apart from, in addition to applying for jobs that have been posted. Also, when you're applying for any job, you need to absolutely research the company. What is their mission? What is recent news about them? So another thing, when we're looking for jobs, sometimes it just seems like we are begging for something, and they will accept, and you will not accept anything. If you look at an organization and their funding is coming from a place that you don't agree with, you need not apply. Just leave them alone and find another thing that aligns better, with your values and your beliefs and all of that. That's one. Also, look at recent news about them. Are they in some kind of trouble? Also, are there good things happening? So, for example, if you see that an organization recently launched a project, then especially if you get to the interview stage, but even at the CV stage, you can find a way to put that in. But when it comes to interview, like you can be referencing, oh, the project that you launched, you can ask a question around it. You can tell them how some of the work that you have done can feed into that project that they launched, or perhaps that, oh, you see that they plan to use AI to do something, and then you have this training in AI and you have this interest and you're really looking forward to joining the team to, contribute to that. So yeah, please research the company all the time. And then also when you have your interviews, so like there's like you may not know what exactly works, but I can tell you that when I did my interview and they gave me a timeline, they told me between 2 to 3 weeks I'll reach out. I patiently waited, or impatiently, but I waited for the time that they told me to elapse, and it did. And I sent a follow-up email. So, that's, I cannot quantify, I cannot tell you that is why they gave me the job or not, but I know that I eventually got the job. So, you never know. So always follow up after your interview, especially if they give you a timeline, and they have not responded, they've not said anything. Another thing that happens is sometimes they are considering somebody else, and then they'll give the person the offer and the person will reject it. This thing happens all the time. You never know whether you're the first option or the third option. But some of us just want to be an option. And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day after you get the job. But it's possible that they're in conversations with that person and that person literally just said no, like they don't want to accept the job. And you just sent your own email, telling them how excited you are to start or something like that. That can be what will make them say, this person just rejected us and this person wants us. Just give the person the job. Damn, of course, you did well. If you didn't do well, then of course you'll not give it. I'm just saying, that is something that can tell them that you're actually serious and you want to work with them. Yeah, so about networking, I know some of us like the word, some of us don't like it because maybe we are introverts, we don't like talking to people and all of that. So the myth about networking is that it's about, collecting contacts, like the lady that collected my number. She actually never reached out to me. Or, just asking for jobs. It's not just for that. So when you go for these events, you can build genuine relationships with people, just get to know them. You can get their contact, just know the work that they do and all of that. Another thing is also you could end up learning more of the way that these people speak, because in every industry they have their language and the way they speak and some of their acronyms and whatnot that they'll be saying that they'll sell you and you will not know. So one of the ways that networking helps you is that you get to know how these people talk. You can even get to know how they dress and other like people within the organizations that you're looking to join. And yeah, so networking is not just about going to people and collecting their numbers, like they collected my number and actually reach out. But there are other, ways that can help you, especially when you build genuine relationships with people. That way, whether if you get the job, then I mean that's good. But if you don't, you now have a friend or two. I think that's a good thing. Yeah, so seek informational interviews with people, 20 minutes of your time, request for coffee. Some people will say yes, some people will say no. Again, as I said, nobody's holding your future in their hands that if they say no to you, it's not the end of the world, but you'll find somebody that will say yes. Just like I said yes to the lady requesting coffee. I'm not telling you to come to me and tell me that you want to have coffee. Oh. Please, thank you. I'm just saying that it worked for her. So when it comes to LinkedIn engagement, also, I also see people that go and just be making random comments on other people's posts. Don't do that. But you can, make and people that use ChatGPT generated comments. I don't get that. I don't know why people do that. Try not to be that person. But just look at the posts and think about a response that you can give and then put it in the comments. Please don't go and be connect. People can tell that is not you, that's ChatGPT. Thank you. Also, a lot of you have either graduated or about to graduate school. So, people that went to your school is something that really works. Like when somebody is like, I don't know how many episodes we have in the room, but if you come to me and you tell me that you attended ABU, I'm like, you have broken one barrier. Like I'm more likely to actually listen to you. And if there's an opportunity and I mean, you are a good fit for the opportunity, and you're also from my school. I'm also more likely to recommend you. And people that come from schools like maybe, for example, like you have a huge alumni network, and that is something that can help as well. Okay, so last but not the least, exercise. we're going to come up with an action plan. You're going to come up with an action plan. So in week 1, defining your target roles. So what are some of the roles that you even want? You may not, you may know now, the terminologies they use, you may not, but you need to do some research and find out. So it can be, for example, is information technology associates. That's a role that you'd like to do. So you identify a few of them like that. You also identify companies. Go one moment. All right. Thank you so much for the patience. All right. So in week 2, we'll be researching 10 companies, that you would like to work at, places that excite you. And as I said, you might want to balance this between, places that are really nice and, all those international organizations and big companies, and also some upcoming medium or even just starting companies that are more likely to say yes to you, especially if you're looking for like volunteer positions or internship positions, right? And then in week 3, we're going to, make 3 to 5 targeted applications, and you would identify 2 people at least that you request for informational interviews with. So you can do like a WhatsApp call or, like a Google Meet or something, but I would, as much as possible, I would recommend that you do it in person because there's just something that it humanizes you. Because honestly, you can just be like, somebody is disturbing me, somebody is behind me. But then, like, if I was to meet the person, I now like know the person, and it just feels different when you feel like you're dealing with the person compared to just some rando online. And then in week 4, depending on how these applications go, you can follow up on those applications. You can also, attend 1 or 2 industry events that are happening, that are relevant. Again, I don't want you to stress yourself and be jumping from one place to another, but just things that will help. And then, so identify one event. For example, there's one conference that we have coming up next week. I know that there are people that were not invited that will come. And depending on the security in the place, they can literally just, some people will hang out outside or like, in the lobby or something, just to, get to know 1 or 2 people. Don't be creepy about it, but especially when you are like a passionate young person that is learning and not just like people don't want to feel like you're trying to take advantage of them. If people can see your genuineness and the fact that you're a hard worker and all of that, they would actually want to, engage you, help you in one way or the other. But just know that it's not like you're going to get a job just because you went for one industry event. If you're very lucky, it's possible, but then don't go in with that mindset because you come back to your house and you'll be disappointed. You'll be like, I left this house without a job and I came back without a job. But just focus on building genuine connections with people. Okay, yeah, so takeaways from all of our presentation today. Okay. Yeah, so your CV is a brief marketing document, not the history of your life. We don't want to hear everything that has happened in your life. For the opt-in time, we don't want to know the year that you were born or, that you do what that you like to, even like I know I mentioned having interests, but don't tell us that your hobby is sleeping, for example, when you're silly. In the name of God, don't. Every word that is on your CV, because again, you have very limited space. I'm telling you that you need 1 or 2 pages as somebody that's just starting out. So every word in your CV needs to have to be there. If not, you remove it. Then in this day and age, having LinkedIn is not optional. You should have a LinkedIn account, whether it directly gets you a job by itself or not. When you're applying for jobs, you see that they'll be asking you for links. Sometimes they directly ask you for a LinkedIn, link to your LinkedIn account. Also, on my CV, I have a link to my LinkedIn account. Almost anywhere that's in they have opportunity, in the job application phase, pathway to include my LinkedIn account, I will, because I worked on it. It is good. So anything that is on my CV, also, I don't think I've said this on this call. Your CV and your LinkedIn profile should agree with each other. Anything that you have in this place that is contradicting something that you have in you, remove it. Because you need them to complement each other, not to be contrasting and fighting with each other. Because you don't want the people looking at it to be confused. They'll be like, did she not say this? And now she's saying this here. Okay? Yeah, so before you start applying to 100 jobs, you need to have clarity. What do you like? Do the exercise of trying to find your ikigai. What it is that you like to do, what the market is willing to pay you for, your passion, whether you're passionate about it or not, and the contribution that you want to give to the world. And somewhere within that is the sweet spot. You may not be on it directly today or even this year, but it should be, it should give you a map. Like, this is where I'm looking to get to. And some of that might shift over the years, but for now, you need to know where you are. So when you have that clarity, then when it comes to your job application, it will show. When they're asking you in interview, because one of the things that they'll ask you in interview is perhaps why did you apply for this role? Any question that is cloaked, that just means why are you here? And to an extent, even tell me about yourself. Also, is asking you of what you're doing here, why you're applying. And I'm telling you that not everybody has that answer. And there are questions that, the latest interview that I was on, we asked, and I wasn't sure what this lady, the entire interview, we didn't know exactly why this lady was here. It did not make sense what she applied for, compared to what was on her CV and what you would assume. Because, okay, so for example, a person has 10 years of experience and then they're looking for a volunteer role or an internship role. It's not like it's not possible, but you should be able to tell us why. Could be the person pivoting, that you are moving, you want to break into another industry. So you have 10 years of experience working here, but you have 0 experience working in this one, apart from your transferable skills. And you tell us that, and it will make sense to us. And you might as well end up getting the job. But if it's not clear, then you'll likely not get it. The hidden job market is real, as I told you. Getting those informational meetings, going for networking and building genuine connections, and building connections and letting people. Also, another thing is letting people know what you do. So there's a thing where, for example, if I'm sitting down and somebody tells me I'm looking for a tailor, I want to sew clothes. I have a wedding. I need to do it in Abuja next week. So I'm maybe flying in from another state or another country, and I need to get this done, promptly. And they're asking me. If I don't know that somebody that I know is a tailor and the person is good, there's no way that I'll recommend that person to, this person that's looking to do. Or maybe if I know that you are a tailor, but I don't know how fast you can work or how good your work is. And so your friends or your family or people that you know should know that you are, that you have done applications and you're looking to go into it, so that whenever conversations happen, they'll be able to be it's like this person, and then they can connect to you, and you never know. That can just be an opportunity that you get. Okay, another takeaway is that quality beats quantity every single time. 5 targeted applications, to me, other people can have other opinions, but to me, much better than going to make 50 generic, just keep sending your CV anyhow and waiting to see who will call you back. And sometimes you call people and you say, I'm calling for interview, and they'll be like, huh? This organization is that? They don't even remember your organization because they applied to 100, organizations. And then also follow through. So when you apply interviews and this, find out what, never know, that can be the thing that will be like a end up picking you. So yeah, and I need you to commit to an action before you leave this call so that it doesn't end up being that you just listen to me for all this time and you end up not doing anything. For one, you need to do your exercises and submit them. And yeah, so thank you so much for giving me your time this evening. It's a Friday evening, and probably a lot of people want to rest, but you're here. It tells me that you are serious about your future and this program that you're in. And really, really, like you have everything it takes in you today to go to the next level. Just, the next step, not 100 steps from today, just the next step. You have what it takes. And all you need to do, is to get your clarity, just take stock of what you have and see what you can improve on. And trust me, the person that I was, these skills and the knowledge that I had in the job that I was getting frustrated in were the same skills that I carried to the job that paid me 5 times more. Thank you very much. Over. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm seeing that some people are saying that it is time for prayer and they've not done their post test. So perhaps if the admin can share the post test link. Yeah, I am done with my presentation. I think we may have to release. So if you had any questions today that we have not answered, then you can bring it to our session tomorrow. And by the special grace of God, we're going to be able to respond to all of them in tomorrow's session. Aha. Post test has been shared, everybody. Please take it before you leave. Thank you. Over to admin.
Hello, is Mr. Faisal here? Or Ajibola? Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I don't think we have Mr. Faisal here. Or Ajibola, I think the network. So let us try to wrap up. Thank you very, very much for sharing those golden nuggets. Those were really, really great tips. I hope everyone was able to like jot one or two things to do because there's like a lot of things to do if you were really taking notes. Uh, thank you so much, Ma, for your time. I don't know if there are any questions, but then since we may not be able to really take much questions, we'll just try to wrap up. The post test, has been shared in the link in the chat. So you can just take it now. You can copy the link so that you can take it later if you want. In that case, I guess we can round up. Is that all right? Hello, Ms. Zainab. Is that all right?
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine by me.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah. Last thing I forgot. So the to access all of these materials, Ms. Zainab, I don't know if you wish kind enough to share your slides with the participants.
Yeah, I'll share my slides with you guys, and then you can
That's
send to
very
them.
gracious of you. Thank you very much. So you can access all of these materials and resources via the Cohort 2 platform. So just sign up. The link has been shared. The program enrollment code has also been shared there. So if you have any questions or you're facing any challenge, just ask your questions in the group. We'll be there to answer you. Thank you so much, everyone. See you tomorrow. The session is also happening tomorrow, so be here on time. Tell your colleagues. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Give some reactions as you're going. Give some reactions as you're going.